In this Unity tutorial I will show you how to make this fleeing AI, and I can even up the flee distance to 8 maybe, and now it flees even when the player is very far away. So let's get started. First you have to go to this GitHub repository, I have a link for it in the description. Then we'll click on code, and then we'll click on download zip. Now we'll unzip this and open up this folder. In here we'll drag the nav mesh components onto here. Then we'll click on yes. And all I have in the scene right now is this player which can move around with WASD. Then I'll right click over here, go to 2D object, go to sprites and go to circle. I'll make the circle red and then I will call it fleeing AI. I'll set the Z position to 0, which is important. Then I'll put it somewhere. On this I will add an agent, a nav mesh agent, and if this doesn't show up for you, well then you just have to go to Window, go to Package Manager and download this AI navigation under the Unity registry. But I already have it, so just add it right here. Then we need a walkable ground, so right click right here, go to 2D object, go to sprites and go to square. I will call this walkable, so this is the walkable area. I can make it big, for example, like so. So this is where the AI is going to be able to walk. I'll just make it invisible, and remember to set this to 0 on the Z position. And here I'll add a navigation modifier, like so. Then again we'll click over here, click create empty game object, which I will call nav mesh. Set the Z position to 0, and on here I'll add a navigation surface and a navigation collect sources 2D. Then I'll click on rotate surface to XY and click bake. But you might notice that the walls are still walkable. So we'll select both walls and we'll add a navigation modifier to both of them. Then click override area and choose not walkable. And we can now click back on our nav mesh and click bake again. So now the walls are not walkable. And now we just need a basic script to handle the fleeing enemy. So right click down here, go to create and do mono behavior script. I will call it fleeing AI. Open that up. In here we'll add another library called Unity Engine.ai. Then we'll add a public transform called player and a public float called flee distance. I'll set this to 3, and a private nav mesh agent called agent. This will be set in the start function, so agent equals get component nav mesh agent. Then we'll also do agent.update rotation to be false and agent.update up axis to also be false. And in our update function we'll do if vector3.distance. In here we'll input transform.position, player.position. That should be less than the flee distance. Then we'll calculate the direction to the player, so we'll do dir to player equals transform.position minus player position. And then we'll calculate where the AI should go, and we'll do that by doing vector3 flee position, which we will set equal to transform.position plus direction to player.normalized, and we could maybe do ×2. And lastly we'll simply do agent.setDestination to flee position. And that's all the code we need. Now go back into Unity. In here we'll click on our fleeing AI and we will add the fleeing AI script down here. Then we just need to set the reference for the player, so just drag the player onto the reference. Now let's click play. And as you can see, when I walk towards it, it tries to flee from me. And you can of course make this distance larger, like 10. So now it really flees from me all the time. So yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe.